A few weeks ago on the Happy Families podcast, Mrs. Happy Families had an entire podcast to talk about one book. Rather than doing the usual book club thing where we try to cram about 40 books into one episode, we just talked about Kylie's review of The Let Them Theory, Mel Robbins' international bestseller that is available everywhere, all over the place, and people can't stop talking about it. Well, I've had a read as well. And today on the Happy Families podcast, two books. I'm going to chat about The Let Them Theory and also another one that has rocked my world called Careless People. G'day and welcome to the Happy Families podcast, real parenting solutions every day on Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We're Justin and Kylie Coulson. And if you like books, this is one to, I think, have a quick listen to. Kylie, for those who missed your review of The Let Them Theory, remind us, what did you think of it?
I think the way that Mel writes is provocative and she's a straight shooter.
Mm-hmm, yep.
She just says it how it is. There is no mollycoddling going on there. So if you are looking for someone to make you feel good about yourself, she's not the person.
Yeah. Do you remember what you rated it out of 5?
I didn't give it a rating at the time when we talked about it.
Maybe you just told people that it was a good book to read.
It was. I would read it again.
Really? You'd read it twice?
Yeah.
Wow. What would you give it out of 5 then?
Probably a 4.
Okay. Ask me what I thought. Do you want to know what I thought?
I don't really care what you think about the book.
Oh, that hurts.
No.
No. My God. Are you practicing a bit of Mel Robbins' Let Them right here? Let Justin feel however he feels about the book. I'm happy with how I felt about it. Is that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
Not doing a particularly good job of it, but I already know that you did not enjoy it as much as I did.
How do you know, pray tell?
You told me. You didn't even finish it.
No, that's right. I chucked it back on the floor on your side of the bed and said, you put it away. And you said to me...
And you won't even let me put it in your bookshelf.
That's right. You said, I guess we're not putting it on your bookshelf then. I've got all the books that are worth keeping on my bookshelf. No, just good. All right. So we won't have a podcast if I don't talk about it. I'll keep it quick. May I? Are you okay with that? If I just give it a quick, I'm not trying to undo all the good work that you've done. I'm also not denigrating the way that you viewed the book, because clearly this book is resonating with a lot of people. For me, as someone with a background in psychology, I found that it was about 230, 240 pages, something like that could have been done in 5 or 10. There's so much science that could support what she's talking about.
But she's not a scientist, nor is she a psychologist. She's sharing her personal experience and how that has transformed the way she does things. She's not trying to be somebody else.
I guess the other thing that I found a bit challenging was that most of the decisions where she shared stories where she, quote unquote, let them, so that she could then let herself do her thing. I would summarize it as what other people think of you is none of your business.
That's right.
And if other people want to live their lives a way that you're not comfortable with, that's fine. It's actually their life. And so long as they're not causing harm to other people or to property, just let them have their attitudes, let them have their opinions. This comes from psychology around acceptance. The idea that when you accept where other people are, there's no longer any resistance and everyone just gets along. Like the theory itself, or the principle itself, is really sound. It's really good for well-being. I just felt like she glossed over the really heavy stuff, kept it very, very light, and it just didn't...
She wasn't writing it for you.
Didn't work for me. No, it didn't work for me.
For the average people pleaser out there, for the average person who feels like they need to control everyone and every situation, this is a must read.
Yeah. It's so funny the way we see things so differently, isn't it? And yet we're still crazy about each other.
Maybe not after this podcast.
Oh, wow. All right, so I want to talk about a book that really, really did do it for me.
Yeah, I haven't read that one.
No. So this book, I'm going to do it after...
It looks boring.
After the break, I'm going to share with you a book that is called Careless People, a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism.
Yeah, if you're a careless person, you really need to read the Let Them Theory as well.
This is a memoir. I'm going to give Let Them 2 out of 5.
You're so hard.
I was going to do 1.5, but I'm feeling guilty because of the way that you've come at me for it. So I'm going to let you feel a little bit better about it by giving it a 2 out of 5. The book that I'm going to talk about is just, it has really captured me. I couldn't put it down. It's a memoir. I love reading a good memoir. I'm going to talk to you about Careless People right after the break. Sarah Wynne Williams wrote a memoir, Careless People. And in doing so, I think that she has put herself in the crosshairs of some of the most powerful people in the world. Careless People is a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism. Sarah Wynne Williams is a former New Zealand diplomat and international lawyer. She joined Facebook after pitching a job that did not exist, convincing them that they had to hire her despite the fact that they didn't believe that it was going to be useful, and ultimately became the Facebook Director of Global Public Policy. After she left the company, she continued to work in tech, working on policy and AI. Kylie, the book starts with a quote. The epigraph comes from F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated back into their money or their vast carelessness or whatever it was that kept them together and let other people clean up the mess they had made. And that gives you a sense of what the book's about. Essentially, Williams steps into Facebook after convincing them to hire her and discovers that these people, they've got a motto, move fast and break things, and they don't care what they break. The absolute, I want to say pride, hubris, the way that they treat people. They know that they can influence elections. They know that they can influence what's going on with the well-being of our young people. They know that they can walk away and nobody can touch them because of the way that things are structured. I could not put this book down. And if I didn't like the people in charge of Meta once upon a time, my disdain, my disregard, my absolute frustration at these people is worse than it has ever been. Oh my goodness, blew me away. Let me share an excerpt from the book. This is from chapter 44, Emotional Targeting. In April 2017, a confidential document is leaked that reveals Facebook is offering advertisers the opportunity to target 13 to 17-year-olds across its platforms, including Instagram, during moments of psychological vulnerability when they feel worthless, insecure, stressed, defeated, anxious, stupid, useless, and like a failure. They're all in inverted commas because they're quotes directly from what Facebook is doing. Or they can target them when they're worried about their bodies and thinking of losing weight. Basically, when a teen is in a fragile emotional state. Facebook's advertising team had made this presentation for an Australian client that explains that Instagram and Facebook monitor teenagers' posts, photos, interactions, conversations with friends, visual communications, and internet activity on and off Facebook's platforms, and use this data to target young people when they're vulnerable. In addition to the moments of vulnerability listed, Facebook finds moments when teenagers are concerned with body confidence and working out and losing weight. She goes on to explain what's actually going on here. She says, a statement is quickly drafted and the response team debates whether Facebook can include the line, "We take this very seriously and are taking every effort to remedy the situation," since in fact this is apparently just normal business practice. A comms staffer points out what should be obvious, that we can't say we're taking efforts to remedy it if we're not. This prompts other team members to confirm his take, revealing other examples they know of. Facebook targets young mothers based on their emotional states. Facebook does work for a beauty product company, tracking when 13 to 17-year-old girls delete selfies so it can serve a beauty ad to them at that moment. We don't know what happens to young teen girls when they're targeted with beauty advertisements after deleting a selfie. Nothing good. There's a reason why you erase something from existence, why a teen girl feels that it can't be shared. And surely Facebook shouldn't then be using that moment to bombard them with extreme weight loss ads or beauty industry ads or whatever else they push on teens feeling vulnerable. The weird thing is that the rest of our Facebook co-workers seem unbothered about this. I mean, this stuff's just crazy. Have a listen to what Sarah Wynne Williams, the author of Careless People, had to say on the Honestly podcast with Barry Weiss.
When any other government, including the US government, would say, hey, how does facial recognition work? Or how does photo tagging work? You know, I would have these conversations with other governments, would say, look, sorry, we can't tell you that. That's information that's only for us. Like, we're not going to sit you down and explain to you how Facebook Live works or how photo tagging works. And yet, for the CCP, there were these detailed briefings showing how the technology worked, testing of it to make sure it met like their censorship specifications. And beyond that, there were sort of general briefings on AI or infrastructure, you know, the sort of things that would never be provided to any other government.
Are you suggesting that the CCP could sort of use these tools on non-Facebook products, or simply that Facebook was sort of being very open kimono with the Chinese government?
They were explaining exactly how this technology worked, which was being built in a white glove service for the CCP.
Gobsmacking, blown away. Such a great book, such a great conversation. In fact, we will link to the Honestly podcast and this specific interview because it's just such a compelling conversation. But the book, oh my goodness, the whole book is just story after story after story of these careless people who, in one breath, stand before Congress in the United States and say, we're doing everything we can to protect young people. And then in the next breath, sell secrets to advertisers so that they can prey on the vulnerabilities of our young people. This book was just brilliant. Just brilliant. Careless People, a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism.
So how does a book like that help the individual?
What it does is I guess as a parent, it reinforces for us why we need to have really clear boundaries around what's going on. It also helps us to understand the kinds of people who are literally ruling the world. Like, politicians won't stand up to them. And you know why? Because they can tweak the algorithm so that the politician's opponents end up with the power rather than the politician themselves. And there's evidence of that. There's actual evidence that she describes in the book of Facebook employees at the highest levels doing that. So reading it helps you understand who these people are and what they're doing. Apart from that, it's just an incredible story.
So what would you give it out of 5?
Oh, well, I would give it a 5 out of 5. It's not going to appeal to everybody. It is going to appeal to people who want to be across what is going on in the tech sector or what's happening with kids and these platforms that they're so compelled to use, and people who are just interested in policy and technology and all that kind of thing. It's also just an incredible memoir. It starts with a story where she's attacked by a shark as a child. And literally, the doctor sews her back up and her dad says, well, you'll be right now. And she almost dies because the doctor doesn't do it properly. And her dad's still saying, no, you'll be right. And mum's like, I think we probably should take her to the hospital. Like, there are so many compelling stories outside of the Facebook thing as well. She's lived an extraordinary life and I loved it. Careless People, we'll link to it in the show notes. And I reckon if you're looking for a great read over the Easter break, this is one that you definitely want to take a look at. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. If you are looking for more ways that you can support your family and help them to be happier, to flourish, for more information and resources, visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.